What we're seeing nowadays is a whole new population is joining the workforce, especially millennials, who are asking for more than just a paycheck and an annual grade. They're looking for more sense of happiness, more sense of connectedness, stronger sense of meaning, and contributing something positive to the world. And the kind of leadership that is required for that is a kind of leadership that is more approachable, more direct, more personable. So that's the kind of leader that is, according to our research on 35,000 leaders around the world, is really needed for the 21st century.
Can you reach that sweet spot, though, between having the self-confidence, I guess, of being a really great leader and having selflessness at the same time?
Right. So selflessness needs to be connected with or combined with the sense of self-confidence. If you're just selfless, you could be a doormat, and it's not going to help anyone, obviously. So it has to be combined with self-confidence.
Is that realistically possible to marry those two traits?
Very possible. I think if we look at some of the people that we normally regard as great leaders, would that be Obama or people like that, very selfless, but also very self-confident for sure.
Are the wrong people wanting to be leaders and are the right kind of people and the right sort of psychological makeup, are they the ones who are ducking the idea of leadership?
I don't think it's that simple. I think that a lot of people are promoted into leadership by being good at what they did, meaning they become people leaders based on technical skills,
right?
Which is a deep flaw in the way that organizations are promoting people to leadership.
Talk a bit more about that. I mean, so a technical ability, a sort of a technocrat, if you like, versus what? Versus what's lacking there in your mind?
Right. So the empathy, the ability to be approaching people, the ability of understanding people and lead them to where they want to be.
You also write that empathy can be a bad thing as a leader.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah, so empathy has proven through a lot of research over the past few years to actually be a negative thing for leaders in the sense that it can lead to burnout. It makes us more biased. It makes us do very short-term actions rather than long-term impact.
How can empathy make you more biased as a leader?
Empathy is basically helping us to empathize with the people that are like ourselves. So you would empathize more with me than with someone who looked less like yourself.
Okay, and therefore there wouldn't be as much diversity in the workforce.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or perhaps equal treatment in the workforce because that person is going to have a bias that way or the other.
Exactly, yeah. So I'll just clarify, it's not that empathy is a bad thing, but it can have negative impacts.
In large doses.
But what research has found is that compassion is much more impactful and important for leaders because it doesn't give burnout or biases.
What about where leadership comes up against process in organisations, and particularly in big organisations that have their own bureaucracies? So you might have a leader that has thoughtfulness and mindfulness and forward thinking, but comes right up against that rock of, this is how we do things here.
Right.
How do you bust through that?
Leadership is about making tough choices. That's just a natural part of the job. All it comes down to is what is your intention behind what you do and how do you actually execute on that. So it's not that you shouldn't be tough, it's not that you shouldn't be hard, it's not that you shouldn't be fast. It's just a matter of how do you do it and why do you do it.
But when the organisation is, and we know this from people's experience, the organisation is deliberately, impeding you and getting in your way of getting what you want done, how do you get through that?
If you feel that the organization is going against you, you have to just focus and stick to what you believe in and do what is right for yourself.
A lot of leaders boast about the minimal hours of sleep they get, Rasmus. Donald Trump famously has boasted that he gets less than 4 hours. We know that because he's up tweeting every hour of the night in Washington. What are the downsides of that, though, in terms of not being as an effective leader as you could otherwise be if you're not getting enough sleep?
Right, so our research clearly showed that it's a myth that leaders don't sleep. We actually found that the higher level people are on in an organization, the more they sleep. In the beginning we thought that it's because they have secretaries and people that take care of their schedule. That's not the case because they still have complete back-to-back lives. What we realized was that the ones that actually made it to the top in organizations have had the discipline of caring for themselves by getting enough sleep every day throughout their career and thereby performing better. So one advice to aspiring leaders is get enough sleep.
And self-care.
Self-care, absolutely.